Hello, top of the morning to you. My name is Commonite. I'm going to try to explain how to run C4 properly. We are running C4 right now with a team of 9. You can run it with a team of 10. The more the merrier. I'm going to start off by letting you know you want to play a Necro class. If you're not designated to one of the supports who are running, you're going to be DPS, and this perspective on this video is going to be DPS. So you're going to be a Necro, and I'll explain that later on why you want to be a Necro, because it's going to be very important. So, starting off this movie, the one thing you're going to want to know to do is to move to the right. We're all stacking towards the center, if not practically on the boss, because it's easy to move to the right of the boss. The reason we're moving to the right of the boss is because he throws a shield up, a blue shield, and when he throws up this blue shield, it lands on a random person. When you get it like that, the shield turns red, letting you know that you have it. So when your shield on your screen turns red, you're going to want to move to the right. The reason why you're moving to the right is because it's going to make it so everyone else can hit the boss without having to go through a shield. The trim damage on this boss that you're going to get for moving the shields consistently is important. If you don't get the trim damage, that could be the difference between beating it and not beating it. So please move to the right when you get the red shield on you. Don't worry about getting hit by the electricity on the floor. When you have a red shield up, you are immune to that, so you can walk anywhere you want in the electricity. The reason we're moving to the right is out of habit. You'll find out now, because this next phase, when it breaks up into small cubes and you kind of play the shell game trying to find the sparks, the god is going to set up shop on the left side of the cube. So the reason why we're moving the shield to the right side is so the god can do DPS. Obviously in distortions, the god is going to be doing more damage than the individuals, but the trim damage, like I said, adds up. If we can do 1, 2, 3 Gs or bars, that's great. Every single rotation, that's great. So for the start of it, as you're a Necro, you're basically just going to be doing your rotations, however your rotations are. If you don't know Necro rotations, now is a good time to learn it. But do your rotations, move to the right. Right there, what happened, I'll explain a little later, but basically, well, I'll explain it now. Basically, the god's going to be doing what's called a Snapshot. Snapshot is an archer skill, paired with a couple buffs from an Alchemist and a Lightbinder, does extreme crit damage on the boss. This C4 boss you need to hit with crits, RNG, pray to the RNG gods, because you're going to need to. Mechanic 1, it's 4 terminals, north, south, east, west. You're going to want one person at each one of those terminals. The times on the terminals is west is 10, north is 7, east is 5, south is 2. 10, 7, 5, 2. If you lock on the boss, a little timer will tick down underneath his health bar, and if you're standing at the terminal, like I was, if you're at 2, you're designated 2, you hit it at 2. The goal is to get all the little lights that come out of the terminals to hit the boss's shield at the same time. If you don't do this, he will throw things at you, and it's kind of an insta-wipe. And you need to... Don't be afraid. You're going to be wiping eventually, but you don't want to wipe for silly things like that. You don't want your healers and stuff to use up their reses. Playing the shell game, finding the sparks. You need 3 sparks to become a god. 3 of these tiny little sparks right there to find a god. I'm going second. There's going to be 6 god phases in total if you get to the end. After you get to 6, there's no more. It's instant wipe. He rages. So as everyone's telling you where the sparks are, you're going to run up to them, grab them. Once you grab them, and I'll show you right now, you're going to want to set it so you switch to your Alchemist class as fast as possible. So I'm going to hit left on the D-pad, R2, that's going to queue up for Alki, shoot my Karen out maybe, depending on the time, or if I want to, switch to Alchemist, do some DPS on him, R2, R1, throw out your slimes, do DPS to them, because you got a 15-minute interval between you switching to Alchemist and you being able to switch to Archer. Now the reason why you're going to switch to Alchemist first is because you want that God's Army buff. You're going to stack up close to the boss on the left side, throw up God's Army, switch so you can turn to your Archer really fast. There's a 3-second timer there. Switch to your Archer. You're going to R1, R1, R2 for the burning arrow. Throw up your electric fence. Hit your God of Fury alt. Then R2, R2, R1 and hold it to the second bar and just keep doing aim shots with your Archer. That's basically rotation. So paired with your God's Army, the buffs from the Lightbinder, the buffs from the Alchemist, and your barrier for your crits, all that put together gives you massive damage. Good DPS or good damage on this is anywhere from 12 Gs to, well, like Guts, he's hitting 50 freaking Gs a game. The more the merrier. The Lightbinders, there is a chance that the Lightbinders next to you, standing next to you, will get a shield that's going to block that. That sucks. That's RNG. You just got to pray to the RNG god. If it's a good Lightbinder and they notice it in time, they can move the shield out of the way before your God's Fury hits. That's what you want to see in a good team. So as you're training your Lightbinders up, make sure you're training them to buff and watch for the shield. This should bring us to... Well, it should have brought us to the second phase, which I think we lost anyway. Second phase is a little difficult. You got 2 lines that come out of the boss. One is going to be a short line, one is going to be a long line. You'll know if you're short or long by the distance it takes to become blue. So if you're a long line, you're going to tell everyone you're long so that the other one knows that he doesn't have to keep going back. He's short. Once both your lines are blue, the short line is going to rotate it around the boss at the same distance until a third line pops up and makes a triangle sort of around the boss. He's going to keep rotating around until the third line is blue, which will kill the shield on the boss, making it so you don't wipe. I think we wiped on that one, but that's good. It's because you're Necro. If you're Necro, you can wipe. Go ahead and wipe. Lynch. Use your statue. Come back. You don't want to do it too much, but that's why you play Necro, because they die, they come back. They die, they come back. Just hopefully not one after another. Lady Com is getting the third spark on this one. As you can see, I get the shield. She's going to do a rotation. It's rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Third rotation, she's in Alki. When she's ready to go, you'll know it, because she's going to throw her God's Army, or her God's, her God's Army up. If you're DPS and you're stacked on the south like that, you're going to get the buff. As soon as you get the buff for the God's Army, you're going to take off into the south as fast as you can, because you don't want to receive the Lightbinder buffs. When see the Lightbinder going using his ult for the buffs, you don't want that to hit you, because if you're going to collect a spark next, that's a debuff. This is the third phase. The third phase right now we can't... We have theories of how to beat it, but for right now we're kind of just playing defense. 2 people are going to get this little ball that follows them, and these larger balls are going to be... Orbs are going to be headed towards the center. The larger orbs can be blocked by people around the boss, so you want to spread out. If one of those orbs gets through and hits the boss, it's going to heal the boss, it's going to suck. At the same time, with the 2 people who are getting chased by the orbs, if the orbs hit them, then they're going to die instantly too. There's a theory that you have to run the orbs into the boss at the same time, or you have to run the orbs into each other at the same time, and that'll disable the shield. We're going to test some of these theories out. If you can't tell already, we're past the third spark, and past the third spark, there's 2 shields that appear. So 2 shields that appear that you have to move to the right on. So pay attention, make sure you're moving to the right, get that trim damage, keep going and going and going. After the third spark phase, it's sort of rinse repeat. The 4th spark phase is the terminals again, where the 10, 7, 5, 2 that you have to hit at the appropriate time. The 4th phase is going to be the lasers again. with the difference that there's going to be two sets of lasers now. So once one person finds one group of two finds the lasers, another group of two is going to be selected to find out which one's short and long on the lasers. Gets difficult if you die. You wipe. You're gonna need a lot of practice on this. If you think you can just jump in and do it, maybe you can. Hopefully you can. But if you can't, just practice. Practice makes perfect. Even hitting the terminal, practice makes perfect. There's ping issues. There's everything. Practice makes perfect. I believe in this run, some of our light binders and DPSs are down, so we have to. So we're kind of planning as we're going who's coming up, who's coming down, before we jumped into the C4, we designated who is being DPS, who is getting the sparks, who is being light binders, and who depending on their god trees and such like that. So you can't just run in with a random group and say let's do this. You really have to plan out in advance who's going to be doing what, when they're going to be doing what. So that way you can complete this not as fast as possible, but as smoothly as possible. This run here was pretty dang smooth. We got crits, things were never blocked. It was beautiful. It was just beautiful. I think we only got to the 5th God Spark. So much DPS was going on it. I'll let you guys watch. This is the terminal phase again, the 3rd terminal phase. The second terminal phase, 10-7-5-2. At 2 seconds, I hit it. It goes out, breaks shield. See that? So, stay on the boss. Also, one thing I didn't mention, in those terminal phases, the boss will throw out ads. These little tiny ads. It's good to get the ads out of the way. The god at the time will throw his god's authority to try to kill some of the ads. But if you're a necro, you might want to turn lynch, hit your R2. That'll do a little damage to them. You just want to get them out of the way as fast as possible before he takes down some people unnecessarily. You hear everyone calling out the shields. Trust me, you don't want to be the person who forgets that they got the shield on them. You're looking at your feet, or you're looking at your cooldowns of your everything. Muscle memory. Just count it in your brain. Know that it takes 30 seconds, and know what 30 seconds feels like while you're playing.
One in the north.
That's my god. Spark. Here's a little tip. If you're collecting the god sparks, you're going to want to make sure that you leave the ones in the west for last, only because you're going to be stacking in the west anyway, so it saves a little time rather than running all around the map to get them. So the snapshot rotation once again is God's Army, switch to Archer, R1, R1, tap R2 for the burning arrow, throw up your electric barrier, do your God's Fury, then R1, R1, hold R2 into the second bar, and that's an aim shot. Then you shoot that constantly. Just keep doing that. Hopefully, if everyone buffs you and everything goes smoothly and the shield's not blocked, you'll do some good DPS. Notice everyone gets down. I'm going to throw God's Army. Watch everyone just back up.
Who's the light binder?
This is just clean. This team's been running. We've been training for the past 3 days. This is just a clean run. Getting our stuff down. It was worth it. Look at that. For the night, this was our second attempt. The first attempt we got at the 30 bars. The second attempt we got it. There's an attempt after this that I forgot to record. We do back-to-back 2 of them. This team definitely got it. We're going to start rotating people out into different classes so we can get different weapons for people. There it is. Oh yeah, Angel got a gold box as well. He got a legendary paladin weapon, so go ask him about it. Alright, that's all I got. If you have any questions, message one of us in Discord. We'll be more than happy to walk you through it, walk you through the process. Hopefully this video helped you out a little in the explanation of some stuff that people aren't explaining or you have some questions about. Thanks for watching.